Yo guys, what's going on? It's Max, and in today's video, uh, low-key, I feel like a professional. Like I'm recording this, and this is gonna go out like a week from when I'm recording, which is kind of hype. It's like I feel like I kind of got into the rhythm of making videos. Granted, I'm sick, so I'll leave it like a video log. Like if you're watching this, I'm probably in bed, just relaxing. Um, Quick side note, kind of an announcement for when this video goes up. I think if I schedule this properly, Meet Your Maker is going to drop tomorrow, and admittedly, I am very excited for the game and will probably be playing it on stream and maybe making videos on it. I don't know exactly how I'm going to be making videos on Meet Your Maker yet, but I may make the transition point just as a break from Dead by Daylight, because I've been kind of been really juicing out DBD content, and not that it's tiring, but I would like a breath of fresh air. I had a blast playing Meet Your Maker, and I do want to come back to it. So that being said, just please let me know in the comments below if you guys still want to see DBD content. I'll be sure to keep an eye on the community, giving my 2 cents on the stuff that's going on there. But I do think I may take the opportunity to pursue Meet Your Maker. And I understand that shift in momentum is probably going to make people not watch the videos as much, but I don't know. I'm starting to burn out a little bit from Dead by Daylight, and I don't want to keep doing it until like I'm officially done. I'd rather relax. Today's video, hopefully I'm gonna make this one shorter, similar to the last one. Finally, right? When I said a shorter video and it was shorter, you guys hyped about that one. This one, just a quick question that I had, because I thought about it for a while and it's been on the back burner, and like I didn't really have a good context to make it, but I felt like this game, while not really particularly evident, was something that like in this chase made me realize was a perfect example of kind of my point. And it's, when do you drop strong pallets? Granted, you'll see right here, I chose to drop the pallet by Cowtree, which I think is a pretty strong pallet, particularly on this map. And this applies to any strong pallet / god pallet. Shacks are notably strong. Midwich has these very, very strong pre-drop pallets by the staircases. There's a lot of safe pallets on the game, and many, many other maps where if the pallet is dropped, you essentially create a theoretical infinite that forces the killer to break that pallet, and it buys you ample time to get to the next tile set to continue and extend the duration of a chase. And my question to you guys is, when do you drop those? Maybe in your personal playstyle, or when do you think it's right to do so? And I wanted to ask this because I felt like it was an interesting point that my friend does an amazing job of taking chases without going down and without using pallets. Like, he doesn't use resources nearly as frequently as like I do, or teaching my friend to start looping better. Like the one that's newer to the game, he's more hesitant to drop pallets, mostly because he doesn't want to feel bad about dropping them. But once he starts using them, it's like when you become better at the game, you know how to, maybe run around that same loop one more time before you drop the pallet, get a little bit more time between each pallet usage. But it made me realize that I tend to keep strong pallets up for the majority of the game so that my teammates can use them. But then there's times where it's like, I've taken the chase in Shack, the pallet was never used, I've gotten injured because I chose to not drop the pallet, and yet I'm opening the exit gate and I'm ready to leave the game, right? And I feel like with that like logic and chain of events, it makes sense that I should have used the Shack pallet, because no one, like, the Shack pallet's still there, so no one else came to use it. And had I used it, I wouldn't have gotten injured or downed. The chase that I was in might have been shorter, or I'm sorry, not much shorter. It might have not even happened. It would have been longer. The amount of pressure the killer could generate would have been slower, or lower overall. And maybe the game wouldn't have gotten to the state that it had gotten in that game should I have dropped the pallet earlier. I hope that makes sense, because I realize that was a little bit wordy. But I thought that was just a kind of interesting point to talk about, right? Like, if I decided to use Shack pallet very early into the game, I can delay that first hit longer. But is delaying that first hit more valuable than saving that pallet towards the mid to later stages of the game, where that injure / down is so much more pressure and more valuable to the killer that you want to save it for the end game. Where, you know, in the beginning of the game, you have access to all the resources on the map, and it's not that Shack Pallet isn't as good, it's just relatively less valuable because you have access to so much more. In the later game, when those normal pallets end up going down, and now you're kind of working with empty areas plus stronger pallets, it's like, do I choose to go like use the god pallet so that I could stay alive in the endgame chase, or should I have used it early on to stop the snowballing pressure? I felt like that was an interesting discussion point because maybe this is a mentality that I just have as an inexperienced player. And maybe comp players do it differently, right? Like in competitive, I'm pretty sure that the number of hook stages is kind of like your metric for success as a win con. And so I feel like in comp like that, you probably want to use them earlier, right? Like you just don't want to give hooks. Like a hook is a hook. And if you could delay any of them, it's probably beneficial. Whereas in the traditional game of Dead by Daylight, because we have a win condition decided by the number of kills that a player gets, which, like I said, I'm not a fan of that metric, but I'm kind of repeating myself when I say that over and over again, that I feel as though because they kind of strictly go off of that kill count, maybe it's worth saving those pallets for later in the game, because you can leave the people that might be on Death Hook access to those resources to stay alive should they be getting tunneled, should they, you know, maybe be a weaker player that needs some of the stronger resources to stay alive. I just thought it was a interesting discussion point. I felt like that was a unique question to ask because I feel like it's not going to be a unanimous answer unless I'm completely wrong, in which case I'd be hyped to learn. I just don't know about the game. I think that'd be a good point. So let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. Do you think it's when is a good time to use god pallets and strong pallets? Do you think that there are good times where you think there's an optimal way to use them, but you just don't? Let me know. I just genuinely, I'm a little fascinated with this concept. Once again, before I wrap this video up, Meet Your Maker should release tomorrow as of the release of this video, and I am very excited to play Meet Your Maker. For those of you who have seen gameplay or are interested in the game, could you let me know what kind of videos you'd like to see? I think at first I might be doing something along the lines of like unique trap combinations, or kind of like some tips and tricks to building more successful bases. I might do like, you know, showcasing some good community levels I've had a blast playing. I feel like I kind of need to look into like how Super Mario Maker plays, where a lot of people just kind of do like showing off big levels, which I think would be fun. But I do like the discussion format that I've kind of developed on my channel over the last few months, and I don't know how much discussion is really going to come from Meet Your Maker, but we'll see. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, you guys. If you expect the videos to be, or just I should say, expect the videos to be a little bit different over the next couple of weeks at least. Maybe I'll take my words back and not do Meet Your Maker stuff. But I do want to at least get a little bit of a breath of fresh air for myself and possibly for the content of the game. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you guys are interested in Meet Your Maker, stay tuned. Otherwise, take it easy, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and peace. Take care.